What's going on, fam? It's your boy CST Gaming with another tutorial here on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So ever since the new iFly MAX-8 released from Flight One software, I've been getting a lot of questions on this aircraft. You know, how to use the EFB, how to import your flight plan, and all that good stuff. So today I kind of wanted to very quickly go through cold and dark to pushback and kind of showing you guys the functions of the EFB in relation to the FMC, how to load your cargo, passenger, fuel, and how to import your flight plan from SimBrief on over to the aircraft. All right, so here we are inside the aircraft, cold and dark, everything is turned off. The first thing you're going to want to do is, with this airplane, at the current moment of this recording, the flight line config is not there yet for some liveries. So what does that mean? That means that you might be loading into an aircraft that has you know, a Southwest livery, for example, and it's defaulted back to kilograms rather than pounds when it comes to your flight plan and you know, not flight plan so much, but loading and everything else. So you're going to want to make sure that all your settings are correct for the type aircraft and locality, such as United States, for example, we go by pounds. In Europe, they go by kilograms. So, you know, so on and so forth. So the first thing you're going to want to do is get your plane set up. So power up the EFB. You can power the EFB up on the top right corner with the power button. You can actually push on that little screw right there, and you can actually eye the EFB if you don't know more. And then there's a click spot right here on this little pad to bring it back up. But anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory when you take a look at the very first page of the menu. So this is the back button, this is the menu button. If you click back and menu a couple of times, it's going to bring you back to the original page, the very first page of the EFB, where you have a couple of things to look at here. You have your video page, which is just a couple of pictures here of the cabin and stuff. It's supposed to be a video camera type deal, but we all know that Microsoft Flight Sim does not work that way. So they have just put some still images here of the cabin to kind of give you the illusion that you are looking at the cabin and all that good nonsense. But so that's that one. Initialize flight, pretty self-explanatory. Once you are done loading everything and everything is to your liking, you're going to go ahead and initialize the flight in that respect, right? But the first thing we're going to do here is actually make sure that our EFB is connected to Navigraph. In order to do that, you're going to go to terminal charts. You're going to connect on terminal charts. If this is your first install of this aircraft, as soon as you click on terminal charts, it's not going to give you this page. It's actually going to pop a browser page on your separate screen, or if you only have one screen, it's going to be down in the task manager. It's going to open up a browser page, okay? The browser page is going to ask you to connect to Navigraph and allow this aircraft access to Navigraph. All right, if you don't do that, if you don't get that pop-up, then something is not right. Okay, you need to make sure that your iFly plugin is running at all times in the system tray. Okay, if you guys don't know what the iFly plugin is, it's kind of like your Phoenix. It's a plugin that runs in the background to allow the plane to run on Microsoft Flight Simulator. So if you don't have the iFly plugin running in the background, then it's not gonna be right. It's not gonna run. The EFB is not gonna show up. You're not gonna have any click spots and all that good nonsense. So again, first thing to do is go over here, press on terminal charts. You're going to get a little message that says connected to the Navigraph. You're going to get a pop-up. You're going to log in on Navigraph on your browser, and you're going to allow access to this aircraft to Navigraph, okay? Once you've done that, you're going to back up. This is your back button. Always press the back button to go back, all right? Once you have done that, you're going to go to System page. You're going to go to Sim menu, and you're going to go to ACARS. On ACARS, you're going to input your SimBrief ID. Okay, not your SimBrief username, your SimBrief ID. That's the numbers, okay? Once you put your SimBrief ID in there, it's very important that you don't forget to press set. If you don't press set, once you back up at this menu, that SimBrief ID is going to go away. So a lot of people were having trouble. Hey, I'm putting my SimBrief ID in the ACARS CST Gaming, but it's not doing anything. You know, and when I go back into it, it's gone. Well, yeah, buddy. put your SimBrief ID in there, press the button set. All right, for many of these menu options on this EFB, you're gonna have the button set in the bottom left corner, right? Whether it's to open the doors, put the power on, remove the chocks, all that good stuff. After you select what you want to do, you're gonna need to press set in order for the stuff to take effect. All right, so again, put your SimBrief ID in this box and press set. All right, once you've done those two steps, all right, go back to the main menu by pressing the back button a few times. Once you've done the two steps, you should be good to go as far as airport maps, terminal charts, and all that good stuff when it comes to Navigraph and SimBrief. All right, so once you are happy with that, you're gonna go to your system page again, Sim menu, and on the Sim menu, you have a bunch of pages. You just need to go through it. You got failures, save and load. The save and load, a lot of people have been asking me is like, hey, why doesn't this plane have cold and dark state and ready state, runway state, final, and all the good stuff? It does not have presets. However, if you start a plane and you configure it in a state that you want, you can save individual states. Kind of like if you see it over here where it says save, you can save flight plans, and you can also save panel status. What that does is once you are happy with a certain panel status, like for me, for example, I have one set for cold and dark and one set for runway, all right? Then you can just easily click on one of the states right here that you have saved, whichever state it is, and load it, and the airplane will be in that particular state that you have saved. All right, so yes, it doesn't have presets, but you can make your own presets, if you know what I mean. All right, so that's another cool little feature. Now, panel style is where you're going to go in and you're going to have a whole bunch of other menus that you're going to need to mess with. All right, first thing is general. If you are in a US type aircraft, you're going to make sure that the system units is set to US. Choose whatever engines you want, the 1 Bravo 28, 25, or 27. Adjust your joystick sensitivity. If it's too sensitive or whatnot, you can actually do that here. If you have a tiller that's separate from your rudders, you're going to want to make sure that this box is checked that says independent nose, wheel, steering. All right, so that means that you're going to use your tiller for steering and your rudders for rudders, right? You can choose your TAT probe, whether it's aspirated with switches or unaspirated, and all that good nonsense. And keep in mind, always pay attention to the number of pages that all these individual settings have. So we know that on the panel style general section, we have 2 pages. So we can go page up or page down. If we go page down, we're going to go to page 2. You're going to have some more settings: display captain sit, FO seat, built-in air stairs, Wi-Fi antenna, ground vehicles, sun blinds, and all that good nonsense. Okay, so all that stuff is here. You just need to look for it. All right, a lot of people have been asking, hey, what do I do this, what do I do that? If you would just take the time, take a few minutes to go through all the settings, you would see that all the stuff is in there. Wing level versus heading select for your takeoff roll mode, the bank limit below 200 feet, 15 degrees or 8 degrees, and a slew of other settings and things that you can turn on and turn off as you will, right? And again, if we go back, we're going to go back to that page. We're going to take a look at some more of these. We got your primary flight display. Again, a lot of settings here. Take a look at that. Navigation display, track on top or heading on top, all that good stuff. Another one that a lot of people ask me is like, hey, CST, how do you get your RAS to work? Well, look at this: runway awareness and advisory system, RAS. You're going to click on there. You're going to make sure that this is enabled. All right. If this is not enabled, it's not going to work. Another reason why your RAS might not be working is because you haven't done the following. Now, this is the iFly plugin that I was talking about before, and you need to have this running at all times in your system tray for this plane to work. Now, if you have not checked these 2 boxes on your iFly plugin and create airport maps before launching the sim and the aircraft, your RAS system is not going to work because it's not going to know what airports you want the RAS to work for. So you got to create the airport maps. If you don't create the airport maps, which takes a few minutes to create, this RAS system will not work. So again, make sure you open up your iFly plugin after the installation, create airport maps, And then after this process is done, close your iFly plugin map. Make sure it's closed because it can't be running as you are starting the sim. It's going to automatically launch and then start the sim, get into the aircraft. And again, if the iFly plugin fails to launch, all you need to do is open it up, launch it, and make sure it's in your system tray, and the EFB and everything else will show up after you do that. Okay, so again, that's how you get the RAS to work. So take a look at all the settings, get everything done the way you want. Another question I always get all the time, guys, and if you just take a few minutes to just look around, is, hey, CST, I hate that my cabin sun visors in the cabin are either, you know, all closed, partially closed. Now, how do I get them to stay open? Well, you go to this menu, panel style, miscellaneous. Look at this, cabin sun visors. Keep them open if you want them open, and make sure you press set. So now they're always going to stay open. You can always select select for them to be closed. You can have them set to auto, to where they're going to open and close at whatever interval the plane is set up to do that, the mod itself, right? In my case, I like to leave them open because I like to do my wing views and all this stuff, just like a lot of people do. And again, click open, set, and you're done. You can change the color of the emergency lights. I mean, there's so many things you can do. All you gotta do is go in there and look, guys. It's really not that complicated. Pushback, pretty self-explanatory. We're not gonna say that. Ground support, another one. It's like, hey, how do I remove chocks? Look at this. Nose chocks, left gear, right gear chocks, set, chocks are removed. All right, how do I connect electrical power? Connect electrical power, set. You see what I'm saying? All this stuff is here. This is 4 pages of ground support, guys. Go through this and make sure you look at all the stuff that you might want or might not want to do, okay? I use GSX for a lot of things, so the only thing I really use this page for is I remove the chocks because I use GSX chocks, and then I put the power on so that I can connect electrical power to the aircraft once I'm ready. And then once I don't need power anymore, I come back into this page, disconnect it, press set, and the power card is gone. All right, that's simple. Refuel. I've never used this because I show you guys we're gonna fuel and load the aircraft through the wet and balance option. So I've never used this. Doors, pretty self-explanatory. Close and open doors. All right. GSX does it automatically for me, so I'd never need to come in there and do anything with the doors. So GSX handles that for me. And again, you have your ACARS page, which we already talked about. Now, if you click back a few times, it's gonna take you back to the main menu. All right, now that we got the EFB introduction out the way, let's go ahead and put power on the plane, and I'll show you guys how I'll load the aircraft. So we're going to go upstairs, and we're going to go ahead and click the battery on. We're going to arm the emergency lights, and we're going to put power on the aircraft. All right. The very next thing I do is I put my IRS to nav, left and right. Okay, so that thing can start aligning, because I have it set to realistic, so it's going to take like anything up to 9 minutes to align. Cool. Once you do that, you can start going through all your flows. You know, you can left aft or whichever one you use, right? Either left aft or left forward for your APU starts. I usually use the left aft pump for the APU start, but whatever flow you use, it really doesn't matter, right? You use your flows, do whatever you gotta do, but usually I start from the left, I work my way. So I'll start from here. Left aft is on. Up here, I'm going to do the cabin utilities in the past seats, and I'm going to select battery and ground power on there. Good. After I do that, I'm going to go down the middle here, and I'm going to make sure that my seatbelt signs are set to auto and my no smoking signs are set to on. Up here, I'll turn my windows heat on, and then on this side of the panel, I make sure that everything is set correctly, and I usually set my precision panel altitude, cruise altitude, because I always forget this. So I always like to come in there, set it first thing, so I don't forget, and then your position lights are gonna go to steady. All right. So now the plane has power on, set up, ready to go. We have we can see up here we have 7 minutes for alignment, and that's all fine and dandy. So now that this is done, the very next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna load the aircraft. So back into the FB, I also use a nice app called SimBrief Panel. All right, SimBrief Panel, you can get it from FlightSim.to, and it fetches your flight plan from SimBrief, and it puts it into this little handy dandy panel. I love it. All right, you can look at summary, you can look at payload, you can look at weather, and you can look at your row flight plan as well if you wish to do so. I like it because all the information is there and it's all compiled in easy to read format. All right, so the very first thing I'm going to do is go to payload because we got to load our aircraft. So again, this is my sim brief flight plan that I've just created from OKC to LAS with alternate to CDC. All right, we're cruising at 360. Cost index is 5. All that good jazz. There's all our payload, is our weather, and there is a row. All right, first thing we're gonna do is payload. Now, how do you load the aircraft, CST? Well, let me show you. You're gonna go to performance and payload. See, keyword payload, guys. You click on there, and you're gonna be greeted by this page right here. On this page, you're gonna have a lot of buttons on the left side. Usually, the ones that are relevant to you are the gray ones. The ones that are blue, you can't click or do anything with right now. All right, in this particular state. So, as of right now, we are in the performance takeoff page. We don't want to be in the takeoff page. We want to be on the weight and balance page so we can load our aircraft. We're going to click on weight and balance, and you're going to see the very first thing that it's asking for is passengers. All right, so how many passengers do we have? We have a full aircraft today with 100. Looking at my SimBrief panel here, passenger count is going to be 178 passengers. So I don't need to go here individually and put passengers in different sections. All I need to do is go to total, right? I'm going to tell the EFB I have 178 passengers. I'm going to click off in an area over here. Boom. And now the EFB is going to disseminate all the passengers in the different sections, all right? A through G. So there you go. 178 passengers, all disseminated, good to go. We are done with the passengers. Now we can move on to cargo. As far as cargo is concerned, if we look at our payload page here on the SimBrief panel again, you're going to see that my cargo, which is right here, is 7,832 pounds. I usually like to load the aft section a little heavier than the front section because I've had better results if I do that with my CG. So what I do is I put, if I have 7,832, I'll put 4,000, for example. 4,832 pounds in the aft compartment, and then I'll put the remaining 3,000 pounds in the forward compartment. I've had good results with this, so that's what I usually do. I usually do a little more in the aft and a little less in the forward compartment. And 4832. Oh, well, it's defaulted to 33, no big deal there, but 4832 and 3000, that's 7,132 pounds. So that's what we got. Now, once you have done your passengers and your cargo, you are ready to set your payload on the aircraft. Okay, so you're gonna come over here where it says set payload, and you're gonna set payload on the aircraft. So now the payload is set on this aircraft. All right, we have 178 passengers and 708,032 pounds of cargo in the aircraft, because we have pressed the set payload and set the passengers and the cargo. Now the very next thing and the last thing we're gonna have to do on this page is your fuel. You're gonna come to your fuel, you're gonna look at your fuel plan. My block fuel today is 18,308 pounds. Okay, so I will go over here where it says total fuel, and I will put in 18,308 pounds of fuel, and click in the little area over here. Boom. That's our fuel on board. Now that you have done this, we are going to set the fuel on the aircraft. And you might see the plane shift a little bit as soon as we put the fuel in. So let's see. Okay, the plane did not shift. That's all right. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Now, once you are done setting the payload and setting the fuel, you're going to come up here to the top right and you're going to press complete. All right, once you press complete, this EFB knows that you are done with the weight and balance portion, and it's going to take you to your performance and takeoff page. However, we are not going to mess with that for right now. The very next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to our FMC, and we're going to start getting stuff ready on the FMC. So the way I do this is I click on FMC up here, and I start with my very first page, which is my ident page. Okay, ident page, I go over here and make sure that my AREC is up to date, which it is, and then I literally just follow the steps. All right, the very next thing this wants us to do is position in it. All right, well, let's go to position. A reference airport is going to be KOKC. Boom. There's a reference airport. If you want, you can put the gate in there. I don't care. But we need to set the IRS position. In order to do that, you're going to go over here. You're going to go to the next page. And you're going to go ahead and copy the GPS left side to your scratch pad by pushing the button to the left. Now this is copied on your scratch pad. Once you have this copied on your scratch pad, you're going to go to previous page and you're going to paste that into your IRS position. Just like that. Now the plane knows where we are in relation with the world, okay? Now once you're done with this, we're going to go to our route page over here. Very simple. Next page, route. You're going to make sure your scratch pad is empty. All right, and if you've done everything right with the EFB and the installation process of the aircraft, like I showed you guys initially with the ACARS, SimBrief ID, and the Navigraph connection and all the good stuff, once you have pressed request on this, it's going to request your flight plan from SimBrief and import it into your aircraft. So let's press on that. Let's give it a few seconds to request that flight plan. And over here in the scratch pad, you should get a message that says, flight plan ready for uplink. So there you go. Route 1 uplink is ready. Once it says Route 1 uplink is ready, you're going to click on the button that says load. Flight plan is loading. Once the flight plan has loaded, and you see it up here, KOKC to Vegas, this is a company route. You may wish to put your call sign there, which in my case is Southwest 779. Throw that bad boy in there, and then once we are happy with everything else, you may wish to put the runway in there. I usually don't because I go to my departure page and set all that stuff up, but I'll go ahead and press activate and execute. All right, once I have activated and executed my flight plan, now I am ready to go to my departure page and set up all my departures. In our case, if I go to my summary, right, my flight plan says I am departing OKC on 17 left, so I will click 17 left, and I'm taking the GUI 3 departure with UC transition. So next page. Oh, there it is. It's on the first page. All GUI 3 and UC transition. All right, so I got the GUI 3, UC 17 left selected. I'm going to go ahead and execute that, and then I'm going to go back to index. And I'm going to select my arrival into Vegas, which in our case, it's telling us we are coming in on the ILS approach runway 26. So we'll select the ILS. In my case, I'm going to do the ILS Zulu runway 26. And I'm coming in on the Rockstar 3 arrival. Rockstar 3, there it is. And I'm going to do so with the haha transition. There you go. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, it's going to be Preno as far as the VA is concerned. So let's select Preno for right now. That's fine. Once you've done all that, let's go ahead and press execute. And then what I like to do is I like to go to my legs page, and I like to make sure that everything is correct and there's no discontinuity. So I'll click through my flight plan here, make sure there's no crazy discontinuity and none of that. And you can see that the flight plan takes us from KOKC, vectors to BD, off of runway 17 left, all right, all the way down to runway 26 left in Vegas, all right. And then not only that, we have our go around in there as well. So once that's all good, I'm gonna go to my init ref page, and remember we already loaded the cargo and everything on the EFB, so the plane knows exactly what needs to go in there. So all you need to do is literally press on the buttons left to it. My reserve, I go to my payload page over here on my SimBrief panel, and my reserve fuel is 2.1. So I'll put in 2.1 on there. Cost index is 5. My cruise altitude, if I go to my summary page, is 360. So confirming that's 360. Great. My average wind component is 272 at 15. Right here, average wind. I'll put that on there. We could have just done the top of climb wind, that would have worked. That's fine, but I usually put my average wing component in there. IS8 deviation, it's going to be on your flight plan as well. If you go right here and you go to your IS8 deviation, it's 7 degrees. 7 degrees Celsius, so we'll throw that bad boy in there, and that's all good there. Now that that's done, I'll press execute, and it's all there and ready to go. Now we can go to N1 limit. We are done with this, so we can go over here and we can start calculating our performance. There's our performance takeoff. Remember, we pressed complete on the weight and balance page and it took us to our performance. So let's start with the airport search. We're going to go to airport. We're coming out of KOKC. KOKC. Search ident. That airport is going to show up in there. And then runway 17 left. Condition is going to be dry today. Looking at the weather, we can bring up my sim brief panel again, and I have the current weather here as of right now. My winds are going to be 0, 6, 0, and 9, so I'll put those in there. 0, 6, 0 at 0, 9. There it is. Outside air temperature is going to be 7 degrees Celsius. 7 degrees Celsius. There it is. QNH is going to be 3051. 30.51 on the QNH. Now for the thrust rating, let's do a 10% D rate. Flaps configuration will do 5. Aircraft config for aircraft. I'm sorry. Air conditioning is going to be on, and icing is going to be off. Okay. Once you put all this information in there, literally the only other thing you need to do is press calculate, and it's going to give you your performance numbers down here. It's going to give you your flaps, acceleration, trims, runway intersections, V speeds, and all that good stuff. So we have V speeds of 145, 46, and 52. So we're going to go over here. We said we're going to take a 10% D rate, so we'll select that. We'll go to takeoff page. We said flaps 5, CG, we can just click on it, and there it is, 22.6. And now for the V speeds, we said 45, 46, and 52. So 145, 146, and 152 on the V speeds. We can put this back in legs. Over here, I can go to FMC and I can select my takeoff. So I have my takeoff performance ready to go. We may also choose to go over here and put our rotation speeds up on the MCP, so we'll do 146. I usually do 146 plus 5, so I'll do about 151 or so on. You can select your runway heading in there as well, and then you can either do your cruise altitude over here or wherever initial altitude is assigned to you by ATC. We'll leave that to 10,000 as of right now. That's fine. Again, I just wanted to make this little quick video real quick because I'm getting a lot of questions on how to load the aircraft, how to import the sim brief flight plan on your FMC and all that good stuff. A lot of different settings to look at. How do I get my EFB to recognize my sim brief ID? How do I connect it to Navigraph and all that good stuff? Another really important thing that you need to do before you even launch the plane is go to your Navigraph hub and update the AREX cycle for this aircraft. All right, if you don't have an updated AREX cycle, you're going to be behind the power curve. So again, this was just a really quick down and dirty I guess showcase. I really don't want to call it a tutorial because it's not a tutorial. I'm not a real pilot. I'm just a flight simmer, and I do certain things the way I like to do them. I might not necessarily go by a legitimate checklist, but for the most part, I do everything that is required to get you from point A to point B on the aircraft. You know, if you want to see real world type checklists and all that good stuff, then there's a lot of real pilots on YouTube that I suggest you go watch. If you want to do real pilot type stuff, this is not the channel for you, man. This is flight simming. We're having fun, and we learn how to use the aircraft the way that is intended to be used. And like I said, quick down and dirty showcase on how to get the EFB and the FMC to work on the brand new iFly MAX-8. Yeah, I hope this helped you guys. If it did help, please let me know in the comment section down below. If you're not a subscriber yet, please consider subscribing, like the video, share the video, and comment on the video, man. Until next time, as I always say, I salute you all. Please continue to stay safe, have fun, and as always, peace out.